Hey, this is indeed Walt from the Comic Book Men, and you're listening to the iWalter Show.
So their basic story is America's working class, America's middle class, families like yours have been victimized by a big, bloated federal government run by a bunch of left-wing elitists like me. And the government's taking your hard-earned tax dollars and it's giving them to freeloaders and welfare cheats. That's the story that's been told. And I haven't, turned on Fox News or listened to conservative talk radio yet today, but I've turned them on enough over these past 7.5 years to know I'm not exaggerating in terms of their story. That's the story they tell.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird brain. It's a plane. It's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter. Strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Okay, hey, this is Walter. It actually is June 3rd. You know what? The comic book convention down in Philadelphia, the WizardCon, actually did start yesterday, just to give people a heads up, which I actually had taken some time off because today I took like a 2-hour personal work because I was like thinking I'm going to try to see if I can get some laundry done and maybe actually go to this comic book convention down in Philly because there are a lot of big people down there. The problem is the cost is too high. Real quick, before I even go that far, the segment I played in the beginning, I was listening to Rush's show from earlier yesterday on the way home from work because I get home, it's the next morning every time. So I'm like listening to Rush Limbaugh and it was like, wow, he played a segment about Obama, basically trying to stir people up and saying that, it's the Republicans who think this way on how, the government's just getting bigger and basically giving sponging all the money and giving it to the poor people. And it's like, well, you know what, I hate to tell you, yeah, you actually kind of are. Not kind of, you really are doing that. So, I guess he, was trying to say, oh, this is not true. I don't do that. It's like, yeah, you really do. You've been sponging money off and charging, the middle class more taxes and charging them more. You ruined our insurance and stuff. I had a couple of things I took some key notes on. Now, I got a segment on a comeback from Rush Limbaugh, what he said, because he spent his first hour actually talking about this. So I wanted to do a show, too, because I'm always being picked upon by one friend that says that, I'm such a crybaby about how I keep on harping on these school teacher stories. So I wanted to go on that because there's one that actually came up, and it hit a couple, newspapers. I'm not going to say major newspapers. I'm going to say it hit newspapers, and it was titled from one of them because the one actually, I wanted to get the soundbite. I'm just having a really difficult time, so I'm just giving up at this point, and I'll kind of read through it. The other one, there's a couple news stations that were really pissed off at just how out of control this really is with these. People just seem to shun it away, like my friend, and, oh, this is a major problem, but it's not that crucial. Actually, yeah, it is really bad with these school teachers having sex with these underage kids. It's more serious than we like to believe, which I said the other day, and I get shot down for saying that from my one friend. Well, yeah, there's truth to that, and I have a couple papers. Now, he's going to laugh when he sees my sources. One was the New York Post. It was actually 2 days ago. That one was teacher on the run after a 13-year-old allegedly gets her pregnant. And I wanted to play the other one because there was another newspaper source, which I don't have in front of me. And the fact that the time is pretty late, I got things I got to actually do tomorrow or this afternoon, so I actually got to get sleep. That's been a problem for me, a major problem. I haven't been getting the right sleep. And I've had some physical complications, which now I think I'm going to need to get what's called an MRI, I think, a brain scan. I had one years ago, which obviously not that long ago, a couple years ago, and there were some major issues that, it got kind of panned down that it wasn't that big of a deal. Just was kind of perplexing by the doctor who had to read the diagnosis or read the scans. And my one friend laughed at it when he found out that I had a lot of dead brain tissue. He thought it was funny, and it's not. So I've had issues all my life, and you got to remember your brain actually controls everything. It's the motor of everything that's running your body, your heart, your respiration, and everything else. I mean, everything stems to the brain, no puns intended. So it is not a laughing matter, for one thing. But yeah, I wanted to play this one newscast story, which I'm trying to look for right now. I want to finish out with this thing with Obama, though, first, even though I'm kind of going in a different direction. Actually, I hate when I pull up my stuff because I'll find more sources coming about. So, but yeah, there was like two I posted on my Facebook about the school teacher. I wasn't going to go into a large detail about it right this second, even though that's actually what I end up doing right now, because then it just makes it really confusing for people to listen to me on my show. Actually, there's a couple different stories. I didn't realize I had more than one with this whole thing. But I wanted to play the soundbite with Rush's comeback as well. I saw this thing posted yesterday, and this is perfect for people who keep on humiliating me and ganging up on me, so to speak. Who's ganging up on you? Who gives a fuck, really? But I do get kind of like people getting offended by what I say on my radio show. So here's a perfect thing. I made sure to put it on my Facebook page from somebody else's page. It says, if I offend you, good, with an exclamation point, and then it says, fuck off and take your face for a shit. So somebody actually posted that statement on their Facebook page, and it's like, you know what? I actually can agree with that one. I love that statement, so I just had to mention it now. And by the way, yeah, that Philadelphia WizardCon, almost everyone from the Avengers movies is right now down in Philadelphia. So you can see why I would like to go, but the package deals for some of these, you had to get these package deals, were outrageous. They were like $1,300. And it's like, how do these people, I see the same people at a lot of these conventions I go to, where do they get all this fucking money? They're getting it from somewhere, but are they actually getting it from their job? I mean, that's got to be their whole year's income on just going to one, what do you call it, after another, one convention after another. I mean, they couldn't have any money. I wouldn't have any money. I make a decent amount of money. So, another story was from PIX11, by the way. If you're interested, PIX11, they really just were ripping into these school teachers, and they made it that this is a real serious problem that nobody's taken as a serious problem. So, it gets laughed off because, if it's a hot-looking teacher, she should be able to get away with this. No, and I've said this before, and this is exactly what this one, I was going to try to rip it. I had a hard time making it. I could do it. I could make an audio, but it's just going to take too long. It's going on 4 o'clock. I want to go to bed in the next hour or so, so I'm not going to do it. So if you want to look at it, listen to that news segment from PX11 because they were very pissed off. They're not the only two sources, but that's the only two I'm going to mention. So if anybody says anything, well, just these two sources, they're not very reliable. No, there's other people or other news sources that were really pissed off. This is like the straw that broke the camel's back kind of deal. So I wish I could play the one. I just don't have the time to do so, so I'm sorry. Hey, if you have a computer, you can do it yourself. Anyway, the thing on what I was playing at the beginning, I was kind of listening through as best as I could. We're already taking an hour of segment time, and I got to take a breather anyway. I actually got to use the bathroom already. Rush was pointing out that he said in Ohio, Obamacare has basically ruined Ohio. That's what I wanted to say. Ohio's been ruined by the Obamacare thing. It hasn't been the success that Obama's misleading people to believe. It says that I kind of took really quick notes. It's fallen. That basically Obamacare has fallen apart at the state level. He says 1/6 of the government now has taken over health care. Now, that's not a government thing. Health care was never an issue of the government. Now it has been because of the Obamacare thing. So he says, 1/6 of our the government basically runs the healthcare system. It was never their job to do so. Now it is. He also mentioned that between 94, almost 95 million people aren't working. So Obama will say, well, the unemployment rate is at the all-time best it's ever been. It's only at 5%, maybe 5.5%, which is extremely low if it was true. Now, the thing that Obama doesn't mention, out of these 95,000 people that are not working, he's not talking about these people because guess what? They stopped looking for work. They don't even want to look for work anymore, or they just can't find jobs. So they just been written out of the workforce. So the percentage he's going by for that 5%, President Obama, are people who are actually in the workforce, but the same thing that the Democrats used to complain about years ago, they used to say, well, most of these people who are working under the Bush administration are working 2 or 3 jobs at minimum wage, and it's barely enough for them to survive on. Well, guess what? With this percentage of people, this large percentage that he proclaims that are working, guess what they're doing right now in this Obama administration for the last 7.5 years? They're basically working at these 2 to 3 jobs of flipping hamburgers and working at extremely low wages. The only difference is now it's okay for one thing. 2, that's the only thing a lot of these people can get, because I'm going to play this other segment from Rush, which will kind of explain why this is that way. And now they also are going to be fined or penalized for not having insurance, which is going to make their cost of making barely any money out of 2 or 3 jobs that they work. Now they're paying in for insurance. Now my insurance, by the way, had almost half up what I paid before on my car insurance. I have health insurance, but I mean car insurance, that's a form of insurance. And I said this to a friend today. There's people, my insurance is going up because you got people who basically can't afford car insurance. Probably, again, this would fall in the category of illegal immigrants. I've seen this in Norristown, by the way. I was down there going for my driver's license a couple years ago. There's a guy that was going for his driver's license. He obviously looked like he was not from our country. He could not speak any English, and yet he was getting a driver's license, and it was a stereotypical illegal immigrant. Now, here's the funny thing. I've never had this happen in the 20-some years I've had driven, because I didn't start to drive until I was literally 21, 22. I got my license. My mom made me get one, my mother. So I've never had this happen before. You know what? They sent out a new license, driver's license, because they said, oh, yeah, there was something wrong with your license. We had to resubmit your license. You know what that's all about? Probably that same day, because that was the day that there was an illegal person, immigrant, which they are entitled to get IDs and driver's license according to our laws that have been placed. My assumption is that I never had this before, but they told me destroy your old driver's license that's not even valid. That they somewhere must have got caught wind. Hey, wait a minute, you're giving licenses to illegal immigrants? Of course they do. So they also give them free health care, free housing, and the ability to afford probably rather nice or very expensive cars out of our wallets. And guess what else we're probably paying for? Is their car insurance. If you're paying for them to live in this country, you're obviously going to be paying for their insurance. So my insurance just about a year ago, actually not even, about 6 months ago, was about $50 cheaper than what I'm going to be paying this month. It's due in another 2 weeks, my insurance. So my insurance went up literally by $50. So I said, this is ridiculous. Is it from a car accident I had, which was, I hit it, a deer ran into my car? My dad says, no, because this was way beyond, after I hit this deer, my insurance was only supposed to increase by a couple dollars. It's because, the insurance company is out to make money. They're not there to lose money, but they did lose a lot to fix the repairs that this deer had did to my car. So the car looks great. It looks like it's pretty much brand new, even though it's 4 years old or whatever now. Actually, that would be about right because it's a 2012. So I was like, okay, but wow, this really went up a lot. It went up almost $40, $50 from what I paid before. So it was like, it has to be from that accident. Why else did my insurance go up by that much? I couldn't figure out. I'm actually in the age bracket. My insurance should be ever so slightly decreasing every year because of my age. I remember when I reached my 30s, it started decreasing even then. Now it's starting to go back up again by a lot. Because your high risk are actually people in their early 20s and their teens. They're the highest risk factor on car accidents. So why is mine as high as it was when I was in my 20s and higher yet? So I was wondering, but then today, by the way, folks, I got something in the mail. Well, actually, it was yesterday. I got this thing for another insurance company. Hey, do you want to get car insurance? Hey, we got the lowest price. For 6 months, it would only cost you $600 for 6 months for car insurance. And I'm complaining about paying $400 for the car insurance I have now. So that's $200 more. They don't know that I had any car accidents, which weren't my fault, because it was basically, you can't stop an animal. And I've gotten very close calls that I do slam on my brakes, but the accidents I've had were always, believe it or not, I'm not saying that to be a crybaby, but it's the absolute truth. That's always been the issue of somebody who was not paying attention. My mother almost got killed from somebody who actually openly admitted they weren't paying attention. That was something different. But the same situations happened to me where I had witnesses, thank God. But basically it was the other person's fault, or the deer, which they don't have car insurance. But the fact is, the bottom line was my insurance was always relatively around the same amount. So how come it goes from $300 or $350 a month to now $600 a month for an insurance company I've never even had spoken to? For some reason, they said, yeah, this is really low insurance. So that's not low insurance. I'm paying somebody else's insurance because they can't afford to pay it. And I mentioned to a friend in the message, this is why your rent goes up in an apartment, that if they take Section 8 housing, they have Section 8 housing in your apartment complex, or you live in a development with a house where they allow people who have no income, or low income, I should say, to move into your area, your property taxes are going to go up by a landslide because they got to get the money from somewhere, or it's obviously going to go up if you take a loan from the bank. You're going to be paying more as far as interest because they got to make their money from somewhere. So what seems to be free is not free. It's coming out of your pocket. It comes out of your pocket for insurance. I said this to a friend. It comes out of your pocket for the cell phones, as I've heard that before. If you wonder why your cost of paying for a cell phone service is so high, because you got to pay for the ones who don't have any money, but yet they want to own the newest and greatest iPhone, whatever it is now, because you're paying for that phone for them and their service, because the phone company or Apple's not going to, or whatever kind of phone you use, they're not going to pay for it. You're paying for it in a roundabout way. You really are. So just let you know that. Let me just go through. There's only like two more I wrote down from listening, because I didn't listen to the whole first hour yet of Rush. I probably won't. He basically said, Rush said that our nation was in debt when Bush left office. We were in debt for $10 trillion. That's a lot of money. This has been debt that has basically accumulated not from Bush, but for over the years from other presidents as well. It was at $10 trillion over the years, not just Bush. Once again, so he said, here's Obama saying how I saved the country so much money, how everything's doing so much better. We're coming on the rebound from this bad economy that was left from Bush. Well, guess what? In the last 7.5 years of having Barack Obama as our president, guess what our debt is at now? He said it's pushing towards $20 trillion. So Obama, from doing all these things that he has no knowledge on, basically the Obamacare, given everything, basically, in my opinion, he is allowing a lot of illegals in our country, which we are paying for. We're paying for people who don't want to work for all their fringe benefits. Our debt has doubled in 7.5 years. I mean, that $10 trillion debt had taken definitely more than one president to make it that high. It wasn't just one president. It could even go back before Reagan or around the Reagan economic time, all the way up through Bush's time, and I would include Clinton too, that we had a $10 trillion deficit. And Barack Obama had successfully, in 2 terms, has done more damage than a multitude of a couple of presidents have done, as far as causing a larger debt. I mean, you usually try to pay off your debts somehow, but he's actually done the opposite, and he has increased our debt by double almost. So anyway, and he's also, I put it down, that according to Rush Limbaugh, you will hear it because I'm going to play this next. Obama is encouraging through, this is what's caused our debt to get even more severe. This is what's caused people not to be able to find decent jobs, and the jobs they do find are such low wage jobs. It's because of what Rush was saying. Obama is encouraging illegals to come to our country and to live here for, he's encouraging by getting free benefits, as I mentioned before. That would include health benefits, living arrangements, money to live off of, and cheaper housing. And then these people that come to the country, because this happened in Norristown, there was a problem in Norristown where you have, I'm going to exaggerate because I don't really know the thing. There was a story I did read. I'm not making up this. There's like 20 people living in one home, or one apartment, one small coopy hole, and the thing caught fire. It was on the news, or in the newspaper in the Times Herald. So people got killed and stuff like that, and they said, well, we got to reevaluate how many people are living at home. Well, what are they doing? These are people who are from, illegals. They might be migrants or something in Norristown, down in Norristown, living crammed in a house like sardines. And they do that because they were encouraged by Obama to come to this country. But also, you're probably thinking, well, this doesn't explain why would they be living this bad if they have it so good. Well, this is the thing. They come to this country because it is encouraged by Obama, but they will take these jobs at lower wages than most Americans would ever accept these jobs. So that's the catch-22. They'll take a job making below minimum wage, which makes these people, like these companies, say, hey, wait a minute, if I can hire these people for less money, why would I want to hire Americans when I can hire a bunch of illegals who will work for pennies compared to what most, other people? And the unions, like what I'm in the union, that destroys our credibility too, because who's going to pay my wages when you can get somebody for like $5 an hour to do the same freaking job? So this is the kind of problems he has created, believe it or not. People don't want to admit to it, but it's the truth. So right now, by the way, I do want to kind of go into, make sure I got this set up right. I think, yep, I did. I'm going to play the soundbite from Rush Limbaugh. It's not the whole thing, so it is kind of cutting around, but I just want to give people an idea. You can listen to Rush Limbaugh. It's pretty much on his podcast, which anybody could probably, at least listen to. You can even read his transcripts if you can't get in otherwise. So I'm going to do that right now, and let me know what you think. Here we go. Here's from Rush Limbaugh, his comment back. It's not the whole entire thing, but I can't waste all my time because it'll be like 7 o'clock in the morning if I did. Okay, folks, here we go.
Government's taking your hard-earned tax dollars, giving them to freeloaders, welfare cheats. No, but I'll tell you what you are doing. You are letting an uncontrolled number in the hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens just pour into this country who are not skilled enough and who don't speak English and are not educated enough to hope to have any kind of a meaningful, productive job. And yet they're being hired because they're cheaper than American citizens living in the country. And we are giving them health care, and we are providing them all kinds of benefits. And Obama is proud of it. And on that basis, he's urging them to come here. He constantly reminds people, make sure you get your benefits. Focus on your benefits.
Okay, hey, I hope everybody liked that. I got to turn up my headset so I can hear myself. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to go into a long discussion about that. I just want people to understand, both sides of the issue, what's being said. Obama basically making himself into a victim, a true victim, by the way, because I'm always saying, people are telling me that, well, Matt, you do this. you say that I'm victimizing myself. No, I'm actually not. So I'm just letting you know. This is actually truly, I got a president who's actually really is victimizing himself and how he's like trying to defend himself on stuff he really is doing. So there's a big difference, by the way. And you can say there isn't, but there really is. Like I said, I really wanted to go to this comic book convention this weekend. But will I do it? I don't know yet because it is god-awful expensive. I did finish my stories, by the way, on the little parts I did listen to. I only listened to a fragment, segment of Obama's Rush Limbaugh's show today. So I'm just trying to shut this down, though. I have these stories that I made basically post-it notes on my computer. Don't save. Okay, here we go. There we go. Like I said, I could go through these stories about the school teacher. It would just take way too long. So I am not. There's the two sources I got. But I'm going to read, there was basically, these news people are, you can say, oh, well, you're exaggerating truth. No, actually, I am not this time, and I never do. I'm not going to even say sometimes because then it turns into, well, see, you said sometimes. You mean all the time then. So it's 1 minute and 48 seconds for this one. The other one just really rips, again, the issues that these newscasters are really having. And, they're saying what I've said all along. They're just basically saying, oh, everybody takes this as it's not a serious issue. It's not hurting anybody. Yeah, it's hurting people. Trust me, it's hurting everyone, even parents. So this one, they put, from the New York Post, they actually put up some statements on the video. So that actually I can at least read those. I don't have to, convert video to audio, which I normally do for my segments. But this one, it's just too late early in the morning for me to do this. I need to get some sleep because it's been really catching up to me. So it says, sometimes it's better when, let's see, I'm going to get this to play, when fantasy doesn't become reality, referring to these school teachers hitting on kids. Let's see, because hot for a teacher is way less creepy than hot for student. So let me reread that. Because hot for teacher is way less creepy than hot for student. For those who don't understand, that means that it's one thing if you're a young kid who is obsessing over a hot teacher, but a hot teacher obsessing over a young kid is very creepy. And I've said this before. So this is what it's saying, by the way. I'm going to read all this stuff I can. Okay, it says a 2000 study says, now get this, a 2000 study says 1 in 10 teenage students reported inappropriate activity with a teacher. Now, you're probably going to say, well, they're probably referring to, female teachers getting hit on by teachers. No, this whole story is the percentage of female teachers hitting on male students. So let me repeat that. A 2000 study says 1 in 10 teenage students reported inappropriate activity. So that, you can say, well, that's not that much. Can you imagine that? 1 in 10? That's not much at all. If that was reversed and it was truly that this whole story or this whole thing that they put up from the newspaper was stating this with men, do you think you would have the same people would have the same reaction if it was 1 in 10 female students were being hit on by male teachers? You would see axes flying in the air. I'm telling you, people would not be that subtle about this whole thing. Yes, and you know what? They are showing mugshots of a small percentage, but there is other ones that I don't see here of they're all female teachers. So once again, this whole thing they put together, this little collage they put together for this one news source, I think it was New York Post, or the other one, PX11. This whole thing is the premise of females sexually that are sexual predators. It has nothing to do with males whatsoever. So it says, here are 4 of the sleaziest female teachers, female teacher sex scandals. Now, the only reason I'm bringing this up is not to harp on it, but it did come about once again. Here, yeah, okay, it says the same thing. And it just points out, I'm not going to go into all these teachers' names. There's just way too many at this point. Well, maybe I'll have to go back a little bit because I need her name now. Helena Noel Way, 28, charged with 2 counts of inappropriate relationships between educator and student, meaning she's the educator with students. She was caught when one of her alleged lovers told his parents. It gets worse. Let's see what it's going to come up with. Because this was the one case the woman was too pretty to go to jail. This is another one. Let's see. She even carried on a relationship, maybe it is the same one, a relationship with one of the teenagers after she was released on bail in the other case, in another case or in other cases. So they actually put don't commit the crime you were arrested for while out on bail for the same crime. This woman was out on bail. She got bail, and then yet she does the same sexual offense again while she's out on bail. So she had another count. Now, here's this one on the cheerleader. These were actually pretty funny because they're being sarcastic, too. Who was accused of a felony sex crime with one of her students. And let's see what it says. And she's trying to defend herself. They showed a segment where she's like pleading the fifth, like she's stupid when what she did. And it says maybe she got confused and thought she was still in high school, as a cheerleader. So it's just going through in a couple cases, but there is tons of cases which are just being laughed off. The 2 teachers were accused, this is probably the same, I don't know, but it says 2 teachers were accused of having a threesome with a 17-year-old. And it says as in they repeatedly met to have a threesome. So it was, and I think it was at the school, actually, in the building. Yeah, it says in the building. They even recorded some of their sexual acts on tape. And it says here, quote unquote, ladies, it's never a good idea to film yourself committing a crime. So that's just, no matter how, it says no matter how good you look. Oh, yeah, you shouldn't record your okay, I ruined that one. Basically, it doesn't matter. They're actually siding with me for a change. This is what I loved about that story. No matter how good-looking you are, don't be stupid and record yourself having sex with, breaking the law, basically. No, that would basically go under, what do you call it, those stupid criminals. Criminals that are, like, so stupid, like, they basically get themselves caught. That's exactly what this is probably, or what it is saying. So I'm just letting you know. So you can say until you're blue in the face, it's just me being a crybaby or making a big issue out of this. This is not me making a big issue out of it, but it was something that was basically, I don't know how else to put it, but it was all over the news. It was like these women make a laughing stock out of themselves. And yet there will be there will be the victims, and I'm the bad guy, like always. So I'm just pointing this out. That's all I am doing. I am pointing this out. I love these things. They've been advertised now, dress pant yoga pants. It's basically a way to wear spandex to work. But they're only slacks. They're yoga pants, but they're yoga pants slacks. I just love that stuff. I think it's hilarious. Any way to promote sex in the office, why do you do that stuff? That's my question. Why would you do something like that? Well, very easily, because if you want to get an easy job advancement, who's going to get it more? Somebody who looks, for a woman, I'm just saying, for a woman who looks okay looking, or the woman who dresses kind of like very inappropriately and kind of scandalous, or how do you say that word? You know what I mean, though, probably. And it's honestly, you look at the jobs that I worked at, the women who are on the higher ups, usually, I'm not even kidding, they wear ultra tight micro skirts. They look like they're ready to go out to, and it's like not appropriate at all. But they're dressed like they're going out to hot to trot. Now, the ones though that look okay looking, guess what they're doing? They're generally not being placed in a higher advanced job as easily. Not saying it wouldn't happen, but as easily or as quickly though. So, not only am I complaining about the stuff that people say, oh, you're always complaining about women and stuff, I'm also trying to say that a woman, it's not fair for the other women either, that, hey, if you try to go about stuff honestly, good luck because you're not going to get anywhere. That's the bottom line. And that's another one. It's kind of like just a fact. So, I'm just saying. Anyway, I'm just going to go through at this point. Again, I really wanted to go to this comic book convention this weekend, but I seriously doubt I will, just because the cost is so freaking high. I mean, I would love to. You know how much I could buy? I could live off of, for one, what is it, a couple hours, actually only a minute, the money that they're making per second, these celebrities at this WizardCon, would be enough money for me to survive for it's like a month's worth of wages for me. For most people, it might even be like 2 months worth of wages, maybe even more than that. So is it really worth that moment of, now my friend says, well, you're going to say this, Walter, but you're going to spend this kind of money anyway. I don't know. I'm getting to my point that, you know what, I'm going to be in debt for the rest of my life just to say, hey, I saw Chris Evans or Chris, the one who played that. Chris Evans played Captain America, but I didn't know this before. But the other Chris, because they're both Chris, the one who played Thor. I mean, it would be really cool. Some guy on Facebook, he posted what he got. He actually bought a Thor hammer. I guess he must have spent a grandiose on seeing these actors who play these characters on these movies. And the guy, like, I see him at a lot of these conventions, but I think he's also like a local entertainer, so to speak, and, who does stuff probably on the radio or something like that. But I don't think he makes that kind of money to be able to afford all this stuff. I mean, I'm trying to look for him right now. And I saw it, I was like, dude, this is really impressive. Yeah, you bought a Thor hammer, you got an autograph, and you got a photo with not Chris Evans, but the other one, Helmsworth. I think it's Chris Helmsworth. That is very, very cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to blow the steam out of what you did. I think that's very impressive, but how long is that going to impress me or anybody else? Literally, how long is it going to impress anybody? Not that long at all before they're going to forget all about the whole thing. So it's cool. I'd like to go. I wouldn't mind going down just to take pictures of people because I have fun taking pictures of the cosplay, basically the women, because they're the ones who really dress up pretty hot. I enjoy that. And they enjoy it too. The women enjoy getting their pictures taken. If you ask them, they're pretty nice about it for the most part. But the bottom line is, I'm sorry, I'm laughing at something. Somebody actually put up a funny picture from that Jaws movie where the shark the original Jaws, where the shark's eating that one guy on the fishing boat. But they changed it where the shark is now eating a slice of pizza, pepperoni pizza. So it is actually really funny. Yeah, like I said though, I would love to go to this convention, but at the same time, is it really worth spending an arm and a leg? I'm looking at right now. There's people went to the WizardCon today. Their pictures are obviously going up. They're getting pictures with different people, and it's really cool. But like I said, the cost of this comic book convention to see these people was about $1,300, and that might be just for one person, by the way, out of the group, or it could be a group picture. But that's not that impressive, believe it or not. If you're getting a whole bunch of people, that's even almost even less entertaining. Now, the thing that ruined it for me going to WizardCon, honestly, years ago, I used to love WizardCon, but then what changed is you could spend a few minutes talking, not a long time, but a few minutes talking to people. And one that was actually really, really, really cool was, because he was really nice, was... He actually stood in one time, was it Luke Picard, or was that the name of the character he played? But the one guy who played the guy who's basically pretty much, he was in Star Trek, and he was in is it the X-Men movie? The guy who's bald, I can't remember his name. He actually was at the comic book convention one time, and he actually he made sure that everybody would like be able to see him. So he was pretty down to earth, and he would like, if people walked by, you could say hi to him and stuff. He wouldn't like shun people off, but he was being very kind. When I started first going to these conventions, I actually were able, spend a little time in bullshit with different people. That one time, me and my friend Todd, we went to a comic book convention. I actually got to spend a good amount of time talking to the guy who played Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That guy was really cool. James Marsters. I mean, he didn't mind bullshit. He was getting drunk and everything. He had a grand old time just talking to people. And the lady who was like kind of looking over him, this is years ago, was also being like, she was laughing about it. She knew he was drunk, James Marsters. But these people love talking to you. And some of the people that come to these conventions, it's not all about the money back in the day. It wasn't as much as it is now. They actually would spend time talking to you. Now, I'm not talking for like hours, but you don't know how much that means when you even get to talk to these people for like a few minutes. It means a lot to a lot of us as fans. But when it changes that, you only get to talk to them for like less than a few minutes, then that kind of becomes like, it's just, and you stand in line, by the way, for hours with the waiting just to get a millisecond picture of these people. So it just really kind of takes the excitement of seeing these people. And I mean, I knew that like this time I really wanted to see Michael J. Fox. He's down there right now. He's down in Philly. And I was like ecstatic. I was like, wow, I'm going to see him. And I looked at the price. It was like, wow, it's $1,000. And they marked like, but you had to get a group shot with everybody else at first. By the way, they did change that. You can just get one with Michael J. Fox. And it was like, wow, I can get one with just Michael J. Fox. Wow, it's $400 to literally just get a picture, wait in line for hours, and then to only be, stand next to Michael J. Fox, not even ask him anything for 1 second. That's it. If your picture turns out bad, you just wasted $400 to get a shitty picture. Not even, hey, how are you doing? I'm a big fan of Michael J. Fox. I'm a big fan of you, Michael J. Fox, or somebody else. They don't give you that time. Hey, this has got to move along. You can't tell them anything. You just stand there for 1 second and you pay that kind of money. So you know what? That's what's like really me. You know what I can do with $400? I could do a lot with $400. I could do even more with $1,300. And I've done enough of this stuff that I do still like meeting celebrities. But you know what the best I have ever had, honestly, was when I met Kevin Smith. Oh, this is pretty interesting. I didn't see this one. I'll have to read this. And I talked to him for like a good 15, 20 minutes. I got to the point, I was like, okay, I'm sorry for holding you up. Was down in Red Bank when I got to talk to Kevin Smith. I mean, he's pretty cool to talk to. How much did it cost me? Minus the $20 I got to get in and watch this movie, get a copy of it for free. Absolutely nothing. Wow, that's a big difference. So it means a lot more when you can meet these people. And I heard, like, even with Kevin Smith, by the way, I might have mentioned this before, when he was, like, doing the scouting for that mall around here, I can't remember which one it is right now. I think it was Exton. He actually said the people at the mall said he sat and he talked to a couple people for not just a few minutes, but like an hour apiece. Like he just sat down and he just bullshitted with people because he knows where his bread and butter is, and he didn't say, okay, well, you got to pull out your credit card. You need to pay it just to talk to me. No, he knows that we're the people who are basically, giving him the roof over his head. So he doesn't forget that, and he appreciates that. So, anyway, the thing that distracted me, because we're not far from here, is it says it was a late breaking news story from I don't know when. It was obviously yesterday or today. Limerick nuclear generator shut down after a malfunction. So, obviously, it's something you're a little bit alarmed by. Limerick, PA. The Limerick nuclear generator station moved its Unit 2 offline on Wednesday morning after a malfunction. So that was on Wednesday. The unit was taken offline at 9 a.m. due to issues with electrical components that helps recirculate the station's water pumps, which actually cools the rods, I guess, obviously. The rods that get heated up, the nuclear rods. So that is a big issue. That was on Wednesday, though. It's now Friday, so that was like, I guess everything's okay. I'm still here. I'm not glowing in the dark either, am I? There's some picture that's getting circulated, at least on Facebook, because it is kind of funny. And it's this guy crying. It's a teenager. It's this teen sobs in mugshot after being arrested for disgusting crime. It says the teen sobbed like a baby when he was arrested. So, hey, when I'm called a baby, I'll have to pull up this picture. When when the other inmates find out what he tried to do, her get tough introduction to prison life. So I don't even know what it is. A Wisconsin teen was pictured by crying for his mugshot after being busted for sexually assaulting a girl at knife point at a party. Anthony Ziegler was arrested after he drunkenly threatened to cut a young woman if she did not have sex with him. The woman's husband reportedly called the police on the 19-year-old Ziegler, and the party had been taken place in the couple's home. So, yeah, I don't know. So you can see this. It's teen sobs in mugshot after sexually assaulting girl at knife point. The picture is just kind of funny. I'm sorry. I mean, it's not, but it kind of is. Yeah, I just want to get, because it is, 4 o'clock now? I took my watch off, too. I don't even know what time it is. Yeah, it's 4:18. Wow, it's really late. And I have to make a call to cancel an appointment down in Philadelphia I have for psychological evaluation, just to figure out, a test to find out about my learning disability. I was supposed to, work was going to pay for it, a work test that literally cost $3,500. Then they said, we never said we're going to pay for it. And you can keep your health insurance. But, yeah, then they denied saying that. And it was like, okay, so I did cancel out this appointment. For some reason, it resurfaced. They never canceled it properly. So I got to do that actually tomorrow morning, too, before I go to work. Here's a story. Don't think I posted. It was from the morning call. There was a story I actually wanted to read. I don't know if that was on the morning call, where some guy was walking his cat and somebody tried to deliberately run him over. And if that wasn't bad enough, if the story comes up, I will read it, but I doubt I'll be able to find it because it was a couple days ago. But they said the person who tried to run this guy over with his cat turned the car around and then tried to run the guy over again because they didn't do the job right the first time. It's like, this is how crazy it is around where I live. So anyway, there's a morning call story I'm looking at right now. It says, bullets fired at a teen bicyclist in Allentown Alley. One bike seat hit. Allentown, at least 4 gunshots were fired Thursday night at the teen bicyclist in the Chestnut Street Alley west of 10th Street in Allentown. So I don't know what it is. This generation of people is just out of control. What else can I say? And again, it seems like I'm looking for these stories. No, I put these sources in for news, and this is what comes up. I'm not like one of these people. I was like, reminds me of some bad horror movie or show I might have watched years ago, where, this culprit would make the stories happen so he would have stuff to write about. No, I'm not doing that shit. So I'm just letting you know. All right, this is a funny story. Man strangled plenty of fish first date before having sex with her dead body. Did I read this one before? I can't remember. I might have read it without having a podcast. Fantasist strangled teacher he met on Plenty of Fish dating site before having sex with her dead body. Okay, so I did not read this one. I will post this up, though, on my news sources, or what do you call it? Not news sources. People should know what I mean, I hope. Warning, disturbing content. Carl Langdell had previously told a psychiatric nurse, I'm sorry, not a psychic, but psychiatric nurse, that he wanted to cut a girl's throat and admitted after the murder, "I'm a monster." Hey, maybe there'll be another monster movie then. A sick and twisted fanist, whatever, violently assaulted and strangled a young teacher he met on Plenty of Fish dating service, basically, site before having sex with her dead body. A court has heard Carl Langdell met Katie Locke on dating app Plenty of Fish. I've never tried it, so and maybe it's a good place because if you can be mentally unstable and meet women, this is perfect for me, I guess. It says when they met up, he took her back to a 4-star Trebalds Park Hotel in Hertfordshire, something like that, where he violently attacked and killed her. St. Albans Crown Court heard how he dumps her body in the bushes near a skip in the 55-acre grounds after strangling her to death. He then had taken photos of the 23-year-old's dead body and sexually assaulted the woman, the teacher. Only 9 months earlier, Langdell had told a community psychiatric nurse that he wanted to cut a girl's throat. So I guess the gist of this story, I'm not going to go any further. The girl was kind of cute. Was he did admit to this, but you see, this is the thing, I guess. Certain things, there's got to be a breach in, what do you call that? Protecting your client if the client actually admits to wanting to murder somebody. I think that would be, where the clause for disclosure should be able to happen. Because this guy openly admitted that he had a sexual fantasy of cutting some woman's throat, I guess, and sexually assaulting her, which he ended up doing. And they said that he did admit to this before this crime scene actually did happen. So that is pretty interesting. I don't know if I did a good job or not of explaining that. I hope I did. I doubt it, but I can always hope for it, right? Wow, I just really want to read through these stories really quick because of the time constraint. It is like going on 5 o'clock. Oh, here's another Lansdale Patch one. Not a very good one. Woman's body found in East Coventry Creek identified. The woman was found tied to a cedar block in a nearby creek. Has been identified as Juanda College graduate, as a Juanda. Is it Juanta? Something like that. College graduate and a pre-K teacher. So they found this body of a woman and, Coventry Creek, and they were able to identify the woman who she was. They actually got a picture of her, too, I guess, so people could probably identify who might recognize the woman and help kind of work on this case, I guess, because it's probably still an open case at least. Now, here's one, a little less gruesome, but it was from my favorite thing, because I have it linked, is Supergirl TV. They're actually talking about, I guess, what's going to be in, for the first season of Supergirl, what's going to be the extras if you buy the first season, the first complete first season of Supergirl. I wouldn't mind getting, as long as it's not too expensive, I'd probably buy it. But unfortunately, a lot of these really popular TV shows, I guarantee you the cost is going to be probably pretty high. I really liked Supergirl, by the way, if you haven't noticed from past shows, if you listen to them. Yeah, so I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Let's see. There was something from the morning call. I don't know if I posted it. It says liquor control officers cite bars, restaurants, and social clubs in the Lehigh Valley. It says several area bars, restaurants, and social clubs have been cited for violations of the state liquors law between November and March, according to the Bureau of Liquor Enforcement. So this is in our state. And I always do mention this. I think there's too many people on the road that are probably heavily inebriated. The Fairground Hotel and Saloon, 448 North 17th Street in Allentown, was cited for noise violations on March 11th through 12th and 12th. Then again on April 9th and 10th, causing music or other loud entertainment to be heard beyond the liquor license property. So I thought this might have been on. So these are different violations of all sorts. There's other ones. I don't really want to be bothered to read them right now. Just in case, I will put this on my Facebook page either again and on my Twitter page. So there's a whole bunch of different violations, not just that one. And my mind went right to must have been by serving people beyond their limit. That's what came to mind. I'm sure that was part of it, though. There was one actually I forgot about, by the way, because I'm looking at it now. There's like a fanzine site, because I used to own one for the ColecoVisions back in the day in the 80s. So this fanzine site will bring you up to date with what's happening with ColecoVision. It doesn't exist anymore. But if you have an old console ColecoVision, you can actually get some that have been modified to actually that you can hook up. I think it was because I had it open. I forgot to read it the other day. You can get modified ColecoVisions that actually will be able. You can hook up an HDMI cable, which actually is very, very cool. By the way, I wouldn't mind getting something like that. I mean, some of those old games are pretty cool. Huh. Wow, this is pretty gruesome. I have to put this up. This is something different. This woman is letting her little kid, probably 2 or 3 years old, pull her hair and yell at her and smack her really hard on the head. So it was from Logan Bach, and it says it's a dumb woman like this that lets men treat you like you are worth nothing by laughing and then thinking this is funny. Wait until he's 18 and beats the shit out of you. That's what it says, the shit out of you, and now you'll not find will be what is this? Now that will be funny, idiot. So this woman is allowing this little kid to literally pull her hair really hard, smack her on the head. I guess she must think it's cute. So the person is saying, yeah, you're thinking this is funny now. Wait till this kid's 18 and tries to pull stuff like that, pulling your hair, punching your head and stuff like that. When this little kid, it doesn't hurt and you think it's funny. What's going to happen when it's a full-grown adult doing the same thing? It's not going to be so funny anymore, is it? It's actually going to be pretty dangerous. Yeah, I'm just kind of going through these stories, like I said, very quickly because of the time constraints, basically. I was just looking for any fresh stories. I never should really do that, but I did, and that makes things even a little bit more annoying for me, even, and for other people who listen to me. So I'm going to promise you, this is going to be. Make sure I don't turn off my mic. I did that with Matt, so I don't want to do that again. Okay, I'm still getting a feed. I almost did turn off my mic again. I got some gruesome pictures up from these horror movies and stuff that people put up. It's like, okay, I'm putting them up. And some goofy shit, too. Oh, I guess this week on that, I can't ever say his name, that well, and if I don't go down to the city, I'll probably watch this on Saturday. Is Senguli is going to be put on a movie called She-Wolf of London. So that's pretty funny. I didn't even know about it because I missed him last weekend. I don't know if I read this. I'm going to look at it again. It says police have charged a 34-year-old in Norristown man with driving under the influence of alcohol. Wow, what a shock. Following a Tuesday night motorcycle vehicle crash that broke both of the legs of the motorcycle rider. It says the police have charged the 34-year-old Norristown man with driving under the influence. So, what a shock. I got something really cool. It's a picture, but I don't think it's a story. World's first aircraft cinema, first national picture, The Lost World above the world with Imperial Airways Limited. So I don't know when this was. Didn't look like a plane I would actually really want to fly, but it was the first air flight that actually showed entertainment on the flight. So pretty weird. I put this up because I'm a big Lady Gaga fan, as always. I remember I went to see her live, and it was really cool. Couldn't take any pictures because it was at a casino. But it says Tony Bennett, the new album with Lady Gaga, out this year. So he might be doing another one, I guess. A new Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett album is coming sooner than you expected during the show in Idaho. The 89-year-old jazz legend announced that a follow-up. So, yeah, she was really cool to see her. It was something different for her. I guess she's going to be doing another one. Legend announced the follow-up to their, wow, that's 2 years ago now. Follow-up to their 2014 Smash collaboration will be out later this year. So that would be pretty cool. I actually enjoyed going to see them. I did buy some memorabilia that they put out, Lady Gaga did, that is definitely a collector's item. Well, I should have put that up on Twitter, too. So she's going to actually do another one. That was actually, believe it or not, I thought this might have been an old story that I'm reading and didn't realize it. No, it says posted 3 hours ago from GagaDaily.com. So there you go. It's actually new news. It's not old news. Well, 3 hours old, if that's old. Oh, by the way, I had to do this because I would love to see Shatner. He's going to be down at Keswick, and he's doing up a stand-up, who played William Shatner. Stand-up. It was like $100 on October 13th. So me and this lady at work, she got a couple friends, and she said, we're definitely going to need to meet up because I let her know. I texted her today. A woman I work with named Paula. I said, hey, because I know you're a big Star Trek fan. Shatner's going to be down doing a stand-up thing on October 13th, and I got a pre-order if I wanted to get tickets for it. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. This actually sounds pretty cool. So she got a couple of her girlfriends, to come along, and we're going to meet up on October 13th to see Shatner do his stand-up down at the Keswick. So I'm not the only one doing it this time. I'll meet up with some other people. Basically people I work with, too. And she really appreciated me telling her that. I was like, yeah, hey, cool. You would do the same for me. It was something that I would be really interested in. I was, because I did want to see Shatner. I think it'd be really cool. Because the man's up there in age. Who knows how, because look what happened to Leonard Nimoy. He was the exact same age, she told me, as Shatner. And Leonard Nimoy is not with us anymore. So you want to kind of get this stuff, when you can, because you never know what's going to happen from one day to the next with these people. They, anybody could die anytime, if I use that excuse. But, yeah, I just kind of want to see Shatner before something would happen to him. So, yeah, Keswick Theater, that would be today. You could actually officially get the tickets. But she got really good tickets. I got decent tickets on my pre-order. She got actually excellent tickets because she ordered, I think, 3 seats. She paid for 3 seats. Let's see. This was an interesting story. You look at the pictures, people will be picking on this couple. I just felt it kind of like heart-wrenching in a strange way. I'm not trying to pick on these people because these people are both pretty heavy. It's a couple. It was on People magazine. It says, grieving Texas man carried his wife, lifeless body through the floodwaters. She was my whole life. So this man literally carried his, it says, let's see, the husband of a Texas flood victim carried his wife's lifeless body through a mile of sunken terrain to save it from being washed away in murky floodwaters on Monday. To me, I thought that was pretty heart-wrenching. You look at these people and you say, "Oh, they're two bookends and something." It's like that's not the point. The fact that this guy was so, I mean, that's heart-wrenching to me when you find a couple that's truly in love. It's not all like about sex. I mean, a true couple that they were very happy with each other. The guy lost his wife, but he didn't want his wife's body just to be washed away or destroyed, so he carried his wife's lifeless body. That really got to me. So I did have to talk about that. Daryl Smith, 48, says he escaped his Breckenridge home with his wife, Kay, and his son, Daryl Jr., just as the water began seeping in through the front door. Daryl loaded his family in a pickup truck, driving them safely, but a surge of water quickly submerged the vehicle. Daryl and Daryl Jr., 27, managed to free their car doors open, but K61 couldn't escape. So it's a little bit long, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. Again, the thing was, obviously, she did drown, but the man did not want to leave his wife's body just there to, not be found or get destroyed or, get ruined or whatever you want to call it. So he literally carried his wife's body. I found that very heart-wrenching. So no matter how you look at that story, that was the part that I just really wanted to mention. I didn't go into... I guess I did. I was going to say I didn't go into much about that story with the whole school teacher thing, but I think I said enough, I guess. Here's one from yesterday. It was one from Today, the Station Today show. Driver who ran over a motorcycle charged with attempted murder. I think I saw the video the other day. This guy literally ran over a person. It was road rage. He ran over a person on the motorcycle because, literally ran over to the lane next to him to make sure he physically did run over the motorbike. The driver of the car who allegedly steered his car into and over a motorcycle with two riders after an exchange of heated words had his charges upgraded to 2 counts of attempted murder. The victims are recovering from the broken legs and road rash. So that was pretty interesting. Yeah, the video is actually from on that link on today.com. You can see the guy physically running over the motorbike with his car. He's literally the car's up in the air as it runs over the bike. So, and the guy looks like a young version of Colonel Sanders, the guy who did it. They ran over these people for no reason at all. Here was an interesting story from Christopher Morbert Lee. Arizona mother stabbed 3 young sons to death, and then she stabbed herself as well. She killed herself besides her sons. Phoenix, Arizona, 29-year-old woman had been accused of stabbing her 3 sons to death before stabbing herself multiple times in the neck and, in the abdominal area. The unidentified woman and her 3 children, ages 8 years old, 5 years old, and 2 months, lived with her mother. So this woman with these 3 kids lived with her mother and her brother. Late Wednesday night, the woman's brother called 911 after returning home from work and talking with his sister in the garage. He told police she was talking incoherently about religion, and said, that's what it says, and she found the answer before locking him out of the house. So that was the end result. She ended up stabbing 3 kids that she had in her possession from who knows whom, and also herself. So that's, if you want to read more, you know where to go. Because again, it's going on 5 o'clock, so I'm getting this, I'm not going to even finish these stories at this point. I'm just going to give you an idea. If you're interested, you know where to go. I'm looking at this one story. It says 23 sexy swimsuits that will make you love your body. It's of women, but here's the thing: these women are what do you call that? They're thick. They're thick women, and it's a gallery for women that are not very thin. They're obviously they're the opposite. They're thick. So you know what that means. They're, by most people's standards, they're a little bit on the chunky side. So it's kind of interesting. That actually, if you want to read that, that's on Redbook. Why that came up, I don't know, because I got all different things. I never actually don't think I've actually ever taken anything from Redbook, but for some reason they said, hey, it came up on my Facebook for some reason. I don't know why. I honestly am not kidding about that. I don't know why. I think I might have another story. I really want to get. Oh, because I own the Volkswagen, so I had to mention this. Volkswagen debuts 2017 hashtag Pink Beetle limited edition Motor Trend. So it was from MotorTrend.com. I don't even know how I got that one. So they're going to have a limited edition pink edition Volkswagen for 2017. Oh, I didn't say it was the Volkswagen Bug, by the way. We first saw the Volkswagen Pink Beetle in 2015 New York Auto Show as a concept, but the company has announced they will enter a limited production run for the 2017 model. I actually did want to, before I got the Tiguan I have, I really did want to get the Volkswagen Beetle, but for some reason they didn't have any at the time, and it was like, well, I need something that's got four-wheel drive that I won't get stuck in, in snow and stuff. And it's probably not a bad idea because, believe it or not, the Volkswagen Beetle is really good in all types of weather. But the problem is, it's low to the ground. And the problem with that, you can get, if the snow's too deep, you're not going to really get through. My car is actually higher off the ground. So, I mean, the Beetles are pretty cool looking. They are definitely, I like the ones that looked a little bit more like the original ones because they did change the shape a bit. They made them a little bit more streamlined, which is cool, but they just don't look as cool as the original, retro Beetles. So, I don't know. But, hey, if you want a pink Beetle, that's going to be coming out soon, I guess, because they always roll out the models for the next year early. Now, here is something I didn't know about. I saw it at work, so I definitely had to post it. I have no clue about this. UCLA gunmen had had accused a slain professor of stealing his computer code, source says. UCLA student went to school Wednesday expecting to take on a routine end-of-school-year task, final exam, and presentations, but those concerns were I was reading this a little bit, so I'm going to have to read this whole thing over again. I apologize. Okay, UCLA gunman planned to kill two professors, but could only find one of them, I guess. The gunman who killed the UCLA professor before committing suicide on campus Wednesday left behind a kill list and is suspected in the shooting death of a woman in Minnesota, authorities said. Mikar Sekar or something, 38, a former doctoral student and Minnesota residents, left a list at his home in the state that included the names of the woman, UCLA professor William Klug, and that's not a woman, though, William Klug, and a second professor who is safe, LAPD Chief Charlie Beck said Thursday. Starkar shot Klug multiple times in a small office in the UCLA engineering building before taking his own life, authorities said. Sekar had, maybe that's the way you say it, Sekar had accused Klug of stealing his computer code and giving it to someone else, according to police. You know what I bet it is? I'm not going to read anymore because it's a really long story. Maybe he's watching that show I'm watching right now. It's a really bad pun, but maybe he's watching Silicon Valley, and that's where he came up with this concept, no puns intended, that, hey, you stole my source code. I don't know. I don't have any clue. I'm just guessing. You know what? I put up this video, and I never watched it, but it's some chick. She's got a nice ass. She's got her jeans pushed back. And I'm not going to play it out loud. Oh, it's not what I expected, though. This guy's using a Bunsen burner to brand her fucking ass with a heart. I guess maybe it's one of these stupid video things. So, yeah, and the girl's jumping then. The guy literally brand her fucking ass with a heart. What was the purpose of that? I don't know. It says absolutely vile. This was like the other day, and I never still watched it yet. So, I have probably a lot of stories, but now here's one I don't think I read, but I'll just look at it real quick. Teen arrested after 15-year-old old girl's rape and murder recorded on cell phone. People are just really nuts. So I think they were both 15, this guy and his girl. I'm not going to go into great detail. It happened in Houston, Texas. Police say the rape and murder of a Karen Perez, she's a really cute-looking girl, the 15-year-old whose body was found stuffed under a sink and in an abandoned apartment, was recorded on the suspect's cell phone. Perez was reportedly missing on May 27th after skipping school. So, yeah, that's pretty sad. You think that's sad? Here's one, I think, maybe this might be, I don't have any good stories to end with. Father caught man trying to rape his 7-year-old daughter. That was from the Dreamin' Demon the other day. Hendersonville, Tennessee. A 21-year-old man allegedly tried to rape his 7-year-old girl and received a mugshot and a nice shiner for his efforts, according to the reports. Sebastian Ozona or whatever, I don't know, was spending the night at a home where a 7-year-old girl lived, which he basically ended up trying to rape her. Oh, here's the one on the cat, folks, that I was talking about. I have to read at least this. Maybe I'll even let it go with this one if I can, because this is no joke. This is like in my area, I guess, somewhere. Maybe it's not. It's in Pennsylvania. How's that? Man was walking cat when neighbor twice tried to run him over, Whitehall police said. So twice, that's the title, by the way. Whitehall Township, a Whitehall Township man walking a cat Tuesday evening had a run for cover when his neighbor twice tried to run him over, according to court records. Why do you fucking walk a cat? I don't understand that, but it's pretty funny. Hey, if you want to walk your cat and makes you feel happy, go right ahead. Dale Stickler said he was walking the cat around 7:09 p.m. when he saw his neighbor, Robert Cream, it's double E instead of EA, 69, speed out of a parking lot on Alta Drive and Creekside Road and drive over 200 feet off grass towards... over 200 feet off grass towards him, according to the court records. Stickle jumped over the car's path, but Cream crossed the grass again and drove towards Stickler. Records show Stickler said he dodged the car a second time. Records show. That wasn't a very well-written story. It wasn't very well read by me, but it's even worse that it wasn't, it was pretty poorly written as well. Whitehall police did not say if Stickler or the cat were injured, though. Cream was last seen driving at a high rate speed down MacArthur Road, records show. Cream of 1500 block Alter Drive was charged with aggravated assault and reckless endangerment. He was arraigned by District Judge Michael Porchron. Is it Porchron? and sent to Lehigh County Jail for under a $2,500 bail. So that story was just interesting. I was surprised. I dug deep enough to find out. I'm not going to go any further because I'll just find more and more stories. And then that's the last thing that anybody needs to hear is my voice for another hour. I can't even do it because it's going to go on 5 o'clock. So, folks, thanks again for listening to me. I hope you enjoyed my show. Once again, somehow I miraculously was able... Oh, God, Night Gallery's on right now. It's going to be over in the next couple minutes. That's how late I'm up. Yeah, I've almost got an hour and a half show. One thing I almost forgot. I always forget something that I was like, oh, shit. Sorry, it's banged in my mic. I'm holding in my hands. I bought one of those, just to let people know. I did buy the studio set, which I knew I was going to have my doubts for. It was on sale. It was normally $300 for those Beat Studios, but unfortunately, they are wireless. You can plug them in, but it was like, okay, I'm just going to keep them plugged in. I don't want to use the wireless capability if I don't have to because I don't like wireless. I like hardwired headsets, the headsets like I have on my head right now. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but here was the problem, though, by the way. I put them on. You have to charge it fully. Sorry, I'm slobbering. In order to get it to work properly. Otherwise, it sounds like dog shit, the headset. I did wear them the one podcast. So it was like, these sound really bad. Then I looked at it. I looked it up. Hey, can you basically physically plug it in, let the battery die, and still run these? It says no. You have to charge it. Even plugged in, it has to be fully charged in order to run your headset because it also has noise cancellation, which did not work that well. It was all right. It wasn't perfect, I'll tell you that much. I could still hear background noise. So that was another problem. The major problem I had, though, it was actually making my ears ring. That was also giving me a little bit of a head pain from the one ear where the actual battery was laying in the headset. It was like, you know what? Forget it. I don't care if these were on sale for half off. I don't want these. So I basically brought them back. They actually, fortunately, I got Beats Solo 2, brand new in Best Buy, and I said, listen, these sound much better. They're a little bit uncomfortable because they don't fit over your ear, but, for short periods of time, if I watch a movie or something at nighttime, they're fine enough for that. Brand new, I got white because I like white. I can't remember what I paid for it. I'm hitting the wrong one. So it was a really good deal if you go to Best Buy's website. Let's see. Because I can look up my last point in sale, order status, sign in, and it's froze. It'll open up in a second. Picked up, order status. $84.79. That's not bad at all. That's with the tax, by the way, too. That's why. They're on sale for $80, $79.99. So even with that, I should have got the Geek Squad protection. I don't know. It says check your plan for availability. No current plan available. But they were literally, they were $80. I like the white ones. These are the Beats 2 for $80. Normally they're $200. So they were way below cost. Sorry about that. Very sharp looking. Liked them. The only thing is they came with a cable that I can't use when I listen to TV shows. This is how they get you. So I I got them too in the roundabout way. Because I was able to find the cable. See, the cables they give you for these headsets anymore are ones that you can basically run a full-size headset off your cell phone. Now, that's great, now, especially the iPhones, because Apple owns Beats now. They bought the Dr. Dre name and their product for these earpieces. Now, the thing is, though, they give you then the earpiece so you can make phone calls from your headset. The problem is, though, try to listen to it on your stereo, you can't. It sounds all garbly gooped and stuff. So what I end up doing is I went on to Amazon and I got an open box cable that's a straight pathway cable. Those work perfect with this headset. And normally they cost $15 brand new. The last couple Dr. Dre's I had to buy the same exact cable for my headset. and it was like $15. It was like, well, somebody had one that looked like, they said, I haven't seen it yet, but it was like brand, like new. It was just taken out of the package. It was open box for $5 with free shipping. So it was like, okay, $5 is better than 15. That's not much of a difference, but $10, I'll take it. And they shipped them out. Actually, I ordered it yesterday afternoon, and it actually came, or it gave me a report on Amazon. They said, hey, we shipped it out the same, like an hour later. It was like, wow, because I hit them at the perfect time that they were able to ship it. Depending where it's come from, I'll probably get it in 2 days anyway. I think they gave me a time limit like that. So anyway, I'm sorry about that. I did babble on, but not intentionally. I did hit my hour-and-a-half mark. That's good. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed what I'm listening to. This is Walter from iWalter. I won't go into the whole spiel this time. Thanks again if you listen to me, and have a good Friday morning. And if you live in Philly, why don't you check out the Comic Wizard Con? I don't know if I will. I will probably get a general admission ticket for at least Saturday or Sunday. I'm not Sunday. Just take the train down, do what I used to do, just to kind of walk around, just check it out. I'm not sure, because that's still going to be like $60 to even do that. So thanks again. This is Walter. I said this already, but I am signing off from the iWalter Show. Have a good